Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. I'm procrastinating a little bit because I actually need to clear my craft table, which is a bit of a nightmare. I need to box things up because I need to dismantle this table for tomorrow when we're going to have a new telephone line fitted on the wall behind my table, and it's not really accessible. I can't move this out of the way, so I have to take the tabletop off, but never mind. Whilst I was clearing the table, I came across this stamp set here, the flower pots. I haven't used them yet. I think I ordered them with my last order. And I also have got another stamp I haven't used yet. This is called Texture 4. I bought that from a Lavinia Stamp resale page on Facebook. I joined the group. I left it again now. I didn't want to buy any more, but I'm happy with this purchase. I saw this and I thought, well, I hadn't noticed this before. I didn't know it existed, and I thought this would be really nice to give some texture to cards. So I'm going to use that today as well. And somehow I can't remember where I got my inspiration from. I had an idea the other day. What I do with my ideas is if I'm out and about, I get my phone out on my notes page and I sometimes just scribble on it, and this is one of those ideas. So I've got a few inks ready here, the Lavinia Elements Sundance and the Lime Punch, and for the flower pots I'm going to use the VersaFine Clair Twilight. I could use the black one, but I've just re-inked it, so I need to leave that to sit a little bit. And I've got the verdant for the plants. I might add another green colour, but I'm not quite sure yet what I'll do with that. And I want to turn this into sort of spring card, even possible for Easter, I thought. So let me just move my camera down rather than zooming in. Sorry about the wobbling there. Yeah, it's focused. So, and I'm starting with the texture stamp, and I'm not using the VersaFine Clair as I normally would. I'm actually using the Elements because I don't want this to be super crisp. I want this to have a little bit of texture. So I'm not even stamping off, I'm courageous. Oh, by the way, this is a 5x5 piece of 300 GSM cardstock, and I've already rounded off the corners. I will mat this, so I'm just placing this down here. Doesn't even have to be perfect. See, it is not perfect anyway because it is stamped with the Elements ink. If you want a crisp image, you'll have to use the VersaFine, but I wanted it to be like this. So the other thing I want, just get a different, I've just washed my stencil brushes, so I can't use those, but I'm just getting my normal blending brushes out. I want to have a little bit of colour on there, but not too much. So I'm just inking this up really, really lightly, and I just want to go over there to give it a bit of shading and blend these all in. I'll lift it up in a moment for you to see. And I'm even going over the edges, but it's just this little bit of texture that I want. Can you see? I'm contemplating whether I want to spritz a little bit on this, but it might be a bit too much then. Yeah, why not? So just got my water bottle and just really just misting this. So, but I'm dabbing it up straight away. I don't want too much water on there. I just want a little bit of texture. Can you see? It's not much, but a little bit. So, for the flower pots, my thought that I had, is that I can't remember what inspired me, was to have 3 circles here. And again, I'm using just a stencil brush. I was thinking about maybe using the daubers. If you wanted to, you could create a mask, like a small circle mask, but I don't want to be too precise. I just want to pick up some ink. This is a new pad, so I actually need to be a bit more mindful not to load it up too much. So, and I think I want one over there, one there, and one there. So I'm starting over here, and I don't want the whole plant to be in the circle, but I would just like to define this a little bit here. It's still a bit too wet, the brush. Never mind. Ooh, and this is a bit too close to the edge, but never mind. We'll work with that. Don't forget, in crafting, there are no mistakes. You know, play along, play around with this. I can just sort of blend these into one line now, and it's not too obvious that one's going off the edge there. Maybe have this one a little bit lower. So, and as you can see, this is very wet, but I think once I stamp over this, it won't be obvious. I might do the jug over that, and then that won't show. So quickly wiping my finger because I just put that in my stamp pad. So, and now we can start with the stamping. I really want this to be a quick card. What I want to be mindful of now, though, is when I stamp them, even though these are not quite in a line, I still want these to be straight. So this is the VersaFine Twilight. Just testing it on the side. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. So. Yeah, I like that. Can you see? And it immediately takes the focus off the fact that it wasn't very nicely ink blended. So, and I think I will have the lower one in the middle. Another thing you could do with this, if you've got the little bottles, you know, the magic spell bottles, or potion bottles, you could use those. And the third one. Probably could have put the plants a bit closer together, but it doesn't matter. This one had something on the stamp there, got a little bit on the corner, but we'll disguise that with the plants, I think. So this is the one that looks a bit like lavender, and I'm contemplating whether it needs a different colour. I could do that. I've got the Fantasia, I think it's pronounced, so I can ink up the buds at the top with this one, and do the bottom one in this green. I'm trying not to, I'm using the edge of my ink pad, so if I do get any ink on there, it doesn't matter too much. And then, oh, one thing I forgot, I need a bit of scrap paper to mask the top of the jug there. Overlapping a little bit, but not too much. Just doing a little one in the middle first. Yeah. And then I'm putting two more on the side, a bit lower. I'm placing this on the edge of the jug so I don't accidentally go over the jug, so that they need to look like they're sitting in the jug. Otherwise it looks funny afterwards. Can you see they're just about sitting there? And you could do some second generation stamping if you wanted to. And I've just realised if you do the green first and then the purple, it's probably better for you not to stain your ink pads. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Can you see? It all looks a bit dark at the moment. The purple looks quite dark, but it is a purple. So, just finding my lids here. So, and then I think I will use the lower one for the lower pot. And I'm quite positive that I will use different colour. I don't think I want second generation stamping because I want these to be quite bold. But again, I need some scrap paper. So I think I will just do one that way. One going the other way but a bit higher. You want to alternate these a little bit and alternate the angle and raise some to make it look more natural. And then, as I said, I get another colour out. I've got the Shady Lane, or I've got the Green Oasis. I think I'll go with the Shady Lane. So I'm plonking that right in the middle. So taking this off to have a look. Looks a bit bare. I'll have to add a few more, I think. Yeah, that looks better. So, and then the last one. So I'm trying to cover that little speck I had on the side there, but I'll do that with a darker green, I think. Yeah, I'm happy with that. This one's a bit too low, but I will be covering the plant pots anyway. I will have to colour these in. So I just have a very quick think how I fill these in. I probably will use some markers, and I also want to give this a little bit of shading, and then I just need to find a sentiment, and that's all I wanted to do for this one. So I've got my watercolour pencil out. This is just the black one, and I decided to do the shading with that because it's a bit more controlled if I use a watercolour pen, or pencil I should say. Anything else in these small areas I think I would struggle with. So I'm basically using this like a normal colouring pencil, and I'm just going along here, adding a bit more colour towards the edge. Sorry if my camera wobbles. So, and if I wanted to, I could come in with a bit of water and could drag that along. I might do that in a moment. The other thing I need definitely is some shading underneath to ground these. So again, I'm just going in with a pencil, and I would definitely go in with some water there. Just a little bit. So, and the other thing I decided on not to have a sentiment, but look who's just flown in. This is the miniature bee, so I will stamp this little one in the area here at the top, and unfortunately it's flying that way, otherwise it could have flown straight down to the lavender, but I think it'll be fine. So I'm leaving that to dry for a moment, and I've put my finger in the ink pad and have got a tiny little speck there, but I might put a few specks on there afterwards. I'll have a think. I see lots of crafters using splatters. I'm not very good with that, but yeah, I'll probably do that. So let me get some water ready and a brush, and then I'll show you how to do that. So I've got a brush here, got my water ready here on a saucer on the side, just testing on the side. I really just want it damp, I don't want it wet, and then I can just spread this out a little bit, and it will just blend in with the yellow underneath. And the same here, I don't want these harsh lines, I don't want to move it over too much either. It's definitely just a damp brush. I've just gone over the edge there, but never mind. So one thing I forgot also, which I've got on the side here, is I've got my pastel pen here, the white one, because I want to give a bit of a highlight on the jug because it is a bit dark, just to give that a bit of dimension as well. These got dimension through the shading, and I can also put a few highlights here, although they don't show up that well. Definitely on the jug. Can you see? Okay, so with the little bee, I'm just going to colour that in with the Elements ink. So I'm just using my acrylic block, sorry, going off camera there because I'm so zoomed in. I'm just putting a little bit of ink on the back, never mind the stamp being on the other side. I'm just adding a little bit of water, and then that just gives me a little bit of like watercolour that I can colour it in with. Obviously you could use your pencils, you could use your Kuretake pens. So that's all I need there, and I will have a hint of blue on the wings. I think I'll quickly do this off camera, and then yeah, and then we just need to add some splats. So I've covered my worktop here. I've covered, just with some scrap paper, the plants and the bee. Definitely expose that splotch there, and because this is dark, I want to use a dark ink. I've only got the black soot, that's the darkest I have of. You need some water reactive inks. You can use acrylic paints, obviously watercolor paints, but this is the one I just had. So ideally you use a fan brush, just pick it up, and then you use another tool, could be a pen, pencil, and you just spread this. These are fine splatters. You can manipulate them a little bit, but I'm not quite sure how. And be aware this goes everywhere. I normally do this in a spray box. The closer you get, I think, the bigger splotches are, but I quite like the effect. Just test if I know. Don't get them much bigger than that, but I like this. And only if you get closely you can still see where I had the splotch. So I can take this off now. Could maybe have cut it a bit lower. There you go. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but they're really lovely, these small specks. So I'm quickly going to mount this on a bigger piece of cardstock, just a matte, and the base card, and then I'll show you the finished result. So here's the finished card, and if you think this looks different than before, it's because I cut it down a little bit. Because this one was so close to the edge, I had too much space there. So I decided rather than having it 5 inches wide, I just cut it to 4.5 inches. I just took a little bit off there and then cut it accordingly on the top and the bottom as well. And I measured it on a 4, did I say 4 inches? Let me just check it again. Brain's just gone. No, 4.5, and the mat is 4 3/4, and I put it on a 5x5 top folding card, which I created myself. Yeah, and I'm really pleased with this. Is as I had imagined it. Obviously, I hadn't thought about the little spacks, but I like them, and they disguise the little patch there nicely. So yeah, and if you like this card too, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.